A man withdraws to the desert and fasts for 40 days, believing God has denied him a child as punishment. His wife continuously prays to God for a child. Suddenly, a man in a blue robe appears in the middle of the desert and introduces himself as Gabriel, an angel from God. Gabriel tells the man that God has heard his prayers and gives him the news of a daughter. In exchange, Gabriel asks him to promise to dedicate his daughter to God's service when she comes of age. The man is revealed to be Joachim, the father of Mary, and his wife is Anne. Anne mentions she has also seen the same angel while praying. The couple rejoices at the fulfillment of their long-cherished wish. Inside the royal palace, the Roman Emperor of Judea, Herod the Great, announces his plans to rebuild and upscale the Second Temple. However, this is but a trick to stop the uprising against his tyrannical rule. The Hebrews, however, suspect King Herod's motivations and follow the high priest instead. They believe that following the high priest will lead them to salvation. Miriam, King Herod's wife, has dedicated her life to God and secretly supports Hebrew freedom from the Roman Empire. King Herod discovers her resistance scheme and stabs her to death. The king also orders his esteemed Roman military officer, Marcellus, to assassinate the high priest. Meanwhile, Anne gives birth to a child and names her Mary. Mary grows up to be an extraordinary child and a reason for her parents' happiness. Mary spends her childhood years at Joachim's olive farm, where her days pass, helping her father with the crops and playing among the fields with a fellow cousin. Years pass, and one day, the angel Gabriel visits Anne, reminding her of their promise. Anne and Joachim realize that the time for separation has come, and they reveal the truth to Mary. They take Mary to the Second Temple in Jerusalem to present her in God's service. Although saddened by the separation, Mary receives a welcome from Anna, the temple's priestess, who appears to anticipate her arrival. Anna then presents Mary to the high priest, Bava ben Buta, claiming that Mary embodies the vessel of the promise they have all awaited. In the palace, Marcellus brings news of discontent among the people. He informs Herod of many reports throughout the city regarding Hebrew resentment toward the throne. Herod's sister, who stands by his side, tells Herod about the coming of a Hebrew savior. Unsettled by these rumors and discontent among the people, Herod investigates the source. Mary receives her education in the temple. She serves the Lord by washing floors and polishing brass items. She learns about the societal imbalance in provisions and collects leftover food from the temple to give to beggars and the destitute outside. One day, Lucifer visits Mary. He tempts Mary and explains how she serves others without time for her pleasure. Lucifer entices Mary with fleshly pleasures, but she expresses disinterest in such thoughts. Lucifer then attempts to persuade her by offering a taste of power, asking Mary to serve King Herod instead of God. Suddenly, Gabriel appears and confronts Lucifer. Scared, Lucifer runs away. In an attempt to symbolize Roman authority over Judea, King Herod visits the Second Temple to install the Aquila of the Roman Empire on its walls. Bava ben Buta objects to Herod, saying the house of God must not serve political gains. Herod, displeased with the priest's objection, punishes him severely. He removes Bava's crown and replaces it with one made of porcupine quills. The quills pierce through Bava's eyes, rendering him blind. The act instills fear and desperation in the crowd. Herod meets eyes with Mary in the crowds and witnesses a troublesome vision of Jesus' crucifixion. Marcellus confronts Mary and attempts to assassinate her. However, Anna intervenes and saves Mary's life. Elsewhere, a young carpenter, Joseph, working his shift at a construction site, grows bored with his fellow laborers' talks of resistance and leaves for a hunt at the stream. He meets with Gabriel, who directs him to the other bank. Joseph sees Mary washing clothes. He tries to talk to Mary, but she shies away. Upon asking her name, Mary tells Joseph that she is the daughter of Joachim and Anne before hurrying back to the temple. Joseph goes to Joachim's house and briskly asks Joachim and Anne to accept his marriage proposal for their daughter. Joachim tells Joseph that Mary remains bound to God's service and, thus, incapable of marriage. Upon insisting, Joseph shares that a man in a blue robe guided him to meet Mary. Assuming it represents God's will, Joachim and Anne agree. Anne visits Mary in the temple to inform her about their decision to marry her to Joseph. Mary objects that her devotion to God prevents her from marrying. However, Anne explains that Gabriel has guided them for this, making it God's plan for Mary. The family gathers in the Second Temple for the betrothal of Mary and Joseph. Later in the night, Mary falls asleep in the prayer area after praying to God for guidance. She wakes up in the middle of the night to a strange presence and a bright white light illuminating the room. Gabriel appears to Mary, bringing her glad tidings that the Lord has willed her to bear a son and name him Jesus. The child holds the destiny to restore the house of David and rule over it. The following morning, Mary wakes with a strange feeling in her abdomen. Mary rushes to Anna and informs her about the incident. Anna reassures Mary that she believes in her. However, she asks Mary to keep this secret to herself. Meanwhile, another temple devotee listening from around the corner informs the high priest about the matter. The high priest casts her out of the temple. Mary goes to her home and tells her mother about her pregnancy. She fears that it might affect her marriage with Joseph and her father's reputation among people. Soon, the news of Mary's pregnancy begins to spread, and rumors circulate about her supposed promiscuity. Joseph grows furious about these rumors, and her father, Joachim, also refuses to believe Mary.
Thank you all for your support. If you want to watch more content like this, like and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and I will see you next time. Stay curious.